Chicken is a traditional spring meal as well as the rest of the time of year these days. And so is chocolate a traditional food for spring. And today we're going to combine the two and make something called chocolate chicken salad. May sound a little odd, but you're going to see how this works really well. Today we're not using chocolate as the dessert component, but we're actually using cocoa powder. And make sure that you choose natural cocoa powder as opposed to Dutch chocolate. Dutch chocolate means it's been treated with alkali, and that helps it dissolve better in liquids, but we don't need that today. So we're just going to use just natural chocolate or natural cocoa. We're also going to use 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of curry powder. So you see this does have a lot of flavor, and it's going to add a lot of color too. We've got a teaspoon of paprika to go with that. See if we can get the rest of it out of there. And about 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, which you could leave out if you really wanted to, but it does add some flavor to this too and helps enhance the flavor of the other ingredients there. I put these in a pie pan. You could put them in a bowl, a small bowl. You could put them on a small plate. But we just need somewhere we can mix the ingredients really well and then roll the chicken in it. I have a pound of skinless, boneless chicken breast. And we're just going to roll that in here so that we get it well coated. It looks nice and chocolatey or cocoa-y. And put that on a baking pan that you have treated with a nonstick vegetable spray, or use a nonstick pan. Have your oven preheated to 350 degrees. Well, notice we have left the skin off of this, and a lot of times one of the problems that people have with chicken is that it ends up too dry. And one of the reasons it ends up too dry is because of the end point temperature and the fact that the chicken breast got the skin removed, and so they lose a lot of moisture, and it's difficult to keep the chicken tasting good. Now, one of the alternatives would be to cook it with the skin on and then remove the skin when you're finished, but if you're coating it with this chocolate powder, that's just not going to work. So what we're going to do is put it in the oven and use the brand new recommended endpoint temperatures for doneness. The oven's at 375, and USDA has lowered the endpoint temperature recommended from 170 degrees for poultry to 165 for all types of poultry, whether it be white meat or dark meat. And that 5 degrees less temperature for this chicken breast is going to make a lot of difference when you pull it out of the oven. And in order to make sure you get it to that temperature, you're going to have an oven thermometer or a meat thermometer. A digital one is going to work much better than any other kind. But remember, the goal here is 165 degrees internal temperature. Once these have gotten up to 165, which will take 20-25 minutes depending on the size of the chicken breasts that you're working with, let them sit for maybe 10 minutes, and you can go ahead and prep the rest of your ingredients while that happens. And that lets the juices kind of go to one place, and you'll lose a lot less, and the meat will stay juicier later on if you give it that little bit of rest time. For the rest of the salad, we have a cup. Well, actually, I'm doing 1 plate of this. So the whole salad would take 4 cups of baby lettuce and 4 cups of baby spinach, or new spinach out of your garden, new lettuce. On each plate, put 1 cup of each. Now on top of that, we're going to, let me double check here, we are going to arrange 1/4 of an apple. And just go ahead and core it. Use a red apple because it adds a little bit of color. And this is sort of a decorative kind of salad, so arrange them in a pinwheel kind of look, make it look a little bit pretty. Now, if you wanted to, you could do this on a big platter, but when people take their servings, it's hard to make sure that they get everything that they're supposed to have. On top of that, we're going to put about 1/4 of a green pepper. And this is cut into small bite-sized pieces, cut them fairly thin, and then just make sure they're cut down into about 1/2 inch, 1 inch long. On top of that, I've got the whole recipe would take 1/2 cup of grapes. Everything's rolling off on me here. And these are interesting flavor mixes that we don't usually think of. And now we're ready for the chicken. We're just going to cut it into about 1/2 inch chunks, kind of keep them so that they're lined up so that when you put it on the salad, they still have that nice look of one time we were all one piece kind of thing to them. Lay that across the top. And then the last thing we're going to do is drizzle a little bit, probably about 2 tablespoons of reduced fat or fat-free ranch dressing. Now, if you wanted to, you could use another flavor as well. And this is going to add a little bit of moistness to it. There's a lot of information in the news these days about chocolate and cocoa and how it's good for you, it's healthy, and it's got full of antioxidants, so we should all be eating our chocolate and enjoying it and taking away the guilt. And that's true. But remember that with most things that we eat as chocolate, there's a lot of fat that goes with it. Some of it's going to be saturated, some of it not. The dark chocolate is higher in antioxidants. But using cocoa, a natural cocoa, affords you the opportunity to get those antioxidants without the fat added to it. This is a good way to do that. I hope you'll try chocolate chicken salad for Oklahoma Gardening. This is Barbara Brown.